Hey everybody, welcome to Love+Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am here with my good friend, Eileen MacDonald, Senior Global Mobility Partner at Thermo Fisher Scientific. Eileen, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. How are you doing, Ben?
I am almost as good as you, but you are looking fabulous in your fuchsia today.
I matched your logo. I just happened to look in the corner and I was like, ooh, I did that on purpose.
Phenomenal.
Swearsies.
And I brought light in for you. I mean, I feel like we are really, honestly,
We're
this is
like this.
incredible. Britt in the comments, get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are. Check in with us right now. Hit that like button. This is going to be a fantastic show if Eileen's blouse has anything to do with it. Britt's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to you, Britt. Adrian checking in from Global HQ in Dallas. What's up, Adrian? Oh, another fantastic, fabulous person.
Our friend Tila.
Says you're pretty.
And Sawson as well.
Look at this. Sawson, it's good to see you. Get in the comments, hit that like button. We're going to be talking about global mobility. We're going to be talking about international assignments. We are going to be getting the most unique perspectives. I had the pleasure, real quick, Eileen, can I tell people how we really met, like legitimately met? So I had heard of Eileen, okay? I knew of the personality, the illustrious person who is Eileen, but I never got the chance to meet her IRL, as the kids say, until we were in St. Louis and we got to share a panel together. And shout out to Brenda Thoney Johnson for putting us together in that opportunity. And I was like, oh my gosh, she is even better in real life. I found my kind of people here because she's my kind of crazy. She's super smart. She's super funny. She loves to dress fabulously. I'm like, you are my spirit animal, Eileen. It has been a blessing to know you over the last few months.
It truly has been. It's one of those funny stories where we both had our little circle of people in the mobility industry, and all of our people knew each other, and we knew of each other, but it was like you were an enigma over here, and I was over here.
And you're an enigma as well over there.
The outside looking in, so now I don't have to be on the outside looking in anymore.
And Eileen also probably has the most fabulous LinkedIn profile picture as well. The power poses are there. I'm loving it. Get in the comments. I want to know what your thoughts are. Get in here with questions. If you have questions for Eileen, get in here. We got people checking in. Let's see who's joining us. Eileen. Farrell checking in.
Excellent.
Looking forward to this from hot NorCal.
Okay, Mike Falia. How much do I love Mike Falia? Mike Falia and I were Relo babies back in the day. Like, we started as Relo babies together when we were both in Chicago.
Nice. Mike.
He's OG. Yeah, Mike's OG with me.
I was hoping you'd use the candy background. We're going to talk candy. We're going to talk snackies. I can't wait. Will Joyce checking in from Indianapolis.
The correct terminology. I appreciate that.
Yes, and you're gonna have to tell me all about tell us the deal on snack before we'll talk about serious stuff, guys. Okay. If you've never seen the show, I apologize in advance. This is how it goes. Okay. First, we got to prioritize snackies. What is snackies? Where does this come from? Eileen, you got me?
Okay, you want to know what my thing is with the snackies?
Yeah, I want to know what it is. In fact, you know what? Yeah, tell me, where did this concept come from? Well, I've never heard the term used before. Be honest with you.
So my sisters and I have our own vocabulary, and we call snacks snackies, or knack-knacks, as one of my nephews called it when he was 4, and he's now 20-something. He'll never live it down, but now it's snackies or knack-knacks. And I didn't realize that I am actually known for carrying snacks in like my pockets, my handbag, but I learned it from my mom. My mom is one of these people that she's got the Mary Poppins purse and you can dig through and it's like, oh, you want a banana? Do you want, candy? It wasn't until
produce. She's got
oh
produce.
yeah, she's full on. Like she's got a shopping list down there. So I was at a PSRC event and I got a text from my friend Nolan and it said, "Hey, I need some candy." And I was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." So he walked over to my table and he goes, "I know there's candy in that purse." And I was like, "Oh, there probably is." So I pull out a bag of candy and he goes, "I want that one." And he goes, "You carry," and it's like, it's stuff your grandmother has. It's like hard candy. It's strawberry hard candy. And it's the kind Nolan likes. So he's like, "I knew you would have it in your purse."
Okay, we're going to do something I don't often do because you're talking about food and honestly, screw mobility. We got to eat. Okay. We're gonna hop right into this. Okay. Adam, are you there? Super producer Adam. Can we get a top 5 going right now? We're gonna front load the candy here. Okay. Your top 5, one of my favorites here is Eileen's top 5 snackies from 7-Eleven. Now, Eileen, we like to go in reverse order here, okay? So can you start us off and tell us about number 5?
Okay, so Starburst, while I appreciate the other colors and every color is a good color, the fact that Starburst actually makes a packet of Starburst that you can buy that are pink only, that tells you something. Pink is first, and pink is superior from a flavor perspective. So I buy the pink only.
Are you a pink supremacist?
Or if you have, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid so.
I love it. Get in the I don't even know what flavor that is. Get in the comments right now. I want to know, what is your top snack
strawberry
that you could buy at 7-Eleven? If you don't have 7-Eleven, you got Wawa, whatever. Put it in the comments. I want to know, what is your personal top 5? I see Heather. I see Mike Quigley. I see Christine Sadari hopping in here. We're going to hear Eileen's top 5. Christine Sadari says Doritos. Let's see. Mike Quigley says Eileen is superior. She is a pink starburst of fun. This is great. I'm originally old. Werther's Originals. Hey, those are good. Don't sleep on Werther's. You remember Werther's?
Hold everything. I have Werther's. I have a bag. I have a bag of it over, like, I can't reach it from here unless I get up and move. But there's literally a bag of Werther's over here underneath my desk. I can't reach it, but
he's got a bag.
Werther's all day, every day. I have like five different flavors of Werther's. Soft caramel, sugar-free.
Sugar-free
What do you need?
I don't even know. That's diabolical. All right, we got Starburst at number 5, pink only. I didn't even know they sold. Do they sell other colors only, or just is pink the only?
Pink only, as far as I know.
What flavor is pink?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Okay. All right. I just had some dental work done. I don't know if I can do that, but all right. I do like strawberry. I'm a lemon person. I like the citrus stuff.
See, you can have all of mine because I don't need those.
I love finding like buddies who like different opposite flavors, and I get. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, let's.
Dude, when you get an envelope full of yellow Starbursts with no note in it, then just know they're for me.
You would do that for me. I love it. I'll pay the shit.
Totally.
Let's get on with it. Keep the comments coming because I see everybody's favorite in here. What is your favorite 7-Eleven snack? Put it in the comments. Let's go to number 4 and find out what Eileen likes.
This one is polarizing. So there's Twizzlers people and there's Red Vines people. Now, I can do both because it's hard to find Red Vines like in the airport, but every good 7-Eleven will have some Red Vines. And you got to make the most of it when you find them.
What is the difference between a Red Vine and a Twizzler?
Red Vines you can use as a straw. If you chomp off both ends, you can use it as a straw, especially good with a Sprite or maybe some sort of alcoholic beverage with a Sprite. So that is really good. You can use it as a straw. And Twizzlers, you cannot.
Well, now we got some beef going here in the comments because Tila says Twizzlers no substitute.
Oh, Tila, them's fighting words, honey.
But don't worry, Michael James.
Michael James got me.
Red
Michael
Vine
James got
fan.
me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I don't know that I've had red vines. My kid's addicted to Twizzlers. I mean.
All right, now I'm gonna have to send you those and yellow Starbursts.
Yeah, I need a whole care package. Yeah, apparently I need more.
I'm making a list. Don't worry, I gotcha.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Heather's team Twizzlers all the way over here. Okay, I see you. This is great. That's what I'm saying. My sugar's spiking. All right, let's get to number 3 here. Ooh.
Oh, this is a given. This is a given. So the Doritos are, if you think about it, this is my favorite thing to tell people. You hear all the time about recalls for things like romaine lettuce, you know, celery, stuff like that grows out of the ground that they recall. When's the last time you heard about a Doritos recall? You haven't.
Never.
No. See? They're safe. They're safer.
I love the rationale. Nobody ever got sick eating Doritos, at least not one pack.
Nope.
What flavor though? This is you can't just say Doritos. That's like saying sneakers. Like what flavor?
Well, it depends on the mood. Like sometimes I'm going Cool Ranch. Sometimes I'm going old school nacho. Old school nacho.
Old school nacho.
Straight up nacho. Old school nacho. Sometimes you just got to go that route. But most of the time I'm going with the standard OG Doritos.
OG Doritos. Okay. All right, bet. I like it. I like a great Dorito. I mean, Dorito was, I basically grew up on Doritos. 100%. I think nobody's got beef with Doritos. Mike Fleet is a Cool Ranch guy. You know what, Adrian? I'm probably down with spicy nacho. Honestly, I haven't eaten enough of them recently. I've been on a Pringles kick lately, so that's me though. All right, let's
can't go wrong with the Pringles.
Number 2.
Okay, I'm a huge fan of a Slurpee. I had a Slurpee wannabe in one of my TikTok videos the other day because I wasn't at a 7-Eleven, but I got the frozen cherry drink at McDonald's.
Yeah.
A decent substitute, let me just say. But Slurpees, you can never go wrong. They're always an appropriate beverage.
I like a red one or they have the Coca-Cola one for a long time.
I do red and Coca-Cola. The blue ice. No, I'm a purist. You got to go red or you got to go, and none of this cherry Coke garbage. No, it's got to be the red or the Coke.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I don't think, can I tell the truth? Nobody's listening. I've never.
Don't tell me that you've never had a Slurpee.
I don't think I've ever had a Slurpee before.
Do you know at 7-Eleven they have one day where you can bring any size container into the 7-Eleven and fill it with Slurpees for like the same price?
That's kind of suspect though. Like honestly, if they're just willing to give it away, like I don't know what's in. Is it some sort of mind control substance? What's in the Slurpee?
I'm just trying to share the goodness with the world, Ben. Don't judge. Don't look into it.
I'm just skeptical. Like no such thing as a free Slurpee. I always heard that growing up. Mike Falia, I used to share Slurpees with my mom. She loved the red. Is that in her cookbook, Mike? Red Slurpee recipe.
Mama Falia. That's why we're friends.
Cliff Bierman. Stats and information. Cliff over here. July 11th is National Slurpee.
Thank you, Cliff. I appreciate it. Dang, now we know.
Cliff being super constructive today. All right, number 1. Hey, by the way, don't send me an envelope of Slurpee.
Cliff's right there with the Google machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, number 1, ice cream sandwiches.
I'll figure it out. Okay, so not once but twice this week I've had ice cream sandwiches for dinner. So like as a full-on dinner, not as like dessert. So I have ADHD, and one of the funny things with ADHD is you can become obsessive with food, which I didn't know. And so I pick a food and I will eat it until I'm done with it, and I will never eat that again. So I have in the garage fridge, I have 6 maybe boxes of the last obsession food that I had, which was peach popsicles. And now my new obsession is ice cream sandwiches. So until I'm done with them, but I have 2 different kinds of ice cream sandwiches in the freezer right now.
Hit that like button if you like these snacks right now. Ice cream sandwiches sound amazing. You know, what's your favorite brand though? You've tried them all. Have you come to a conclusion?
Blue Bunny. Blue Bunny when I can get it. Yep, Blue Bunny is my favorite.
When I can get it.
But I will eat a store generic in a hot minute easily.
Farrell says best ice cream sandwich ever is the mint chip. It's mint chippets. Mint chippets. It's mint chippets. All right. Thank you, Farrell, for that amazing chime in there. People are watching this together. That's the beauty of this, Cliff. You are watching it with Jana and so many other friends right now. It's really a beautiful thing. Let's see what other people's favorite snacks are. And now we get to judge them like they've judged us this entire time.
There you go.
All right. What do you think about this? What do you rate this on a scale of 0 to 1? Heather Morgan says 0 bar.
Oh, I've never had that. I don't even know what that is.
Oof. Oh, it's tough, Heather.
I'm going to have to use the Google machine to see what that is. I don't even know what that is.
Can you Google what something tastes like? I want to know what that tastes like. Mark Raby says Twix. Ooh.
Twix bar. Mark's my best friend.
Mark,
ooh, that's a strong choice right there.
Stand-up people eat Twix for sure. David Linton. Interesting. I'm a trail mix guy. What do we think about David? Is that sounds like healthy. It sounds too healthy to be a snack.
That sounds really healthy.
David, I don't know. We're gonna have to. Are there peanut? Are there M&Ms?
I'm not sure. I'm a fan. I don't eat anything that grows out of the ground. So there's some stuff in trail mix, I'm sure, that grows out of the ground.
Trail mix is definitely.
Cliff's got the sour apple blow pop though. For sure.
Ooh. Mike Quigley says his dentist loves Milk Duds. Probably because he keeps them coming back.
I have some of those. Ooh, salt and vinegar chips.
How do you feel about salt and vinegar chips? Yeah.
That's polarizing for sure.
I like it. Where do you stand though on those? Are you yes or no on those?
Salt and vinegar chips. You know what? That's something my husband likes, and so we have them in the house. I'm never going to pick them first. I'll eat them because I'm not proud. I'll eat a chip.
I'll eat a chip. A chip is a chip. Let me ask you this: salt and vinegar chips or jalapeno chips?
Salt and vinegar. I like spicy, but I have yet to taste a jalapeno chip that tastes not chemically. Let's put it that way.
I think we just had our first disagreement.
Are we breaking up already?
No,
it's early.
It just means we're growing. It just means we're growing stronger together. Yeah. Have you had Miss Vicky's jalapeno chip? Oh, and you don't care for them. Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean vinegar tastes chemically, but anyway, okay. Let's move on to let's come back together. What about the?
I can get on board with Christine Starry for sure. The Haribo Golden Bears pineapple flavor, though Haribo not my favorite. Not my favorite gummy bear brand. Again, if I could reach the bag of snackies that I have underneath my desk, Ben, there is a bag of gummy bears in there. That is.
Keeps the snackies on deck. I love it.
Dude, right here. Like even in a Ziploc, I have 2 different kinds of cookies right here. And I have about 9 or 10 different bags of candy in the bag underneath my desk.
This is great. I love how the people are speaking here. We've got votes for the Reese's chocolate peanut butter candy bar. Yes, that's great. People are yes. Thank you for supporting
jalapeno chips in French onion dip. That might be worth a trip to the grocery.
Yeah, it's a banger. And then Mike Quigley, I think is is just trolling people at this point. Mike Polias accurately, I love this when the people rise up and they police one another. That's great. Thank you for that.
We march it, John.
This is great. People are having a lot of fun with this. Another vote for 0 bars. Very interesting. Okay.
We're going to have to find these 0 bars because I'm going to have to, at the next regional, I'm going to hand out 0 bars and do like a, what do you think? 1 out of 10.
It should be on a 0 or 1 basis, a binary scale, I think.
Okay.
Yes. No,
I got to find them first. That's not going to be easy. So
there's 0 available.
We'll give it a try.
Yeah.
It's a 0 bar.
It's 0. It's made up. This has been fun. We've successfully spent 20 minutes talking about snackies, and I think it's been well spent, to be honest with you. I think we've learned more here than we learned in most panel discussions. So this is great. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody for getting in there. Hit that like button. That was the love portion of the show. Let's get to the reload portion. Eileen, you are fascinating for a lot of reasons, but I think one of the things that fascinates me most about you in the context of global mobility is the fact that you yourself have worked abroad on assignment. What was that like?
Yes. So I have been very fortunate that twice in my career, I have lived and worked overseas. So I did an assignment in Singapore with one employer, and I did an assignment in Switzerland with another one. And they were both interesting for different reasons. One, I got to be a victim of my own policy, which was enlightening from the standpoint that you don't know how US centric you are until you become a victim of your own policy. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, let me rewrite this thing. So that was huge.
I have to ask you, when you're victimizing yourself,
sure,
who do you go to for an exception?
Oh, my head of mobility. I go to the head of mobility and go, can I have an exception? I know how to phrase the exception, at least. I had that much going for me. But when I lived in Switzerland, I intentionally did not live with other expats. I lived in a building that was, I could walk out the front door of our apartment building. There were 8 units in the building. And you literally walked across a 2-lane road and you were in the lake, like ankles in the lake kind of a thing. And it was beautiful, beautiful. The Lake of Zug. It was lovely. But I was the only person that spoke English in our entire building. And so when I moved in, there was no meeting the neighbors because I also had not completed any German classes, Swiss German classes, so I couldn't speak to them anyway. But it was a really interesting experience just in the everyday life sense. At the time that I lived there, everybody is assigned a day to do the laundry. So mine was Tuesday afternoon. So I worked from home Tuesday afternoon so that I could do my laundry, and it was free, but you could only do it on your assigned day. So the problem with that is I was taught how to use the washer and dryer a full 2-3 weeks before I actually had to use it. So all of the instructions were in German. There was no Wi-Fi down there, so I couldn't bring my laptop down to YouTube how to use the machine. So I would have to run upstairs, watch the video, go down 3 flights of stairs,
try to remember
try to figure it out, try to remember it. I'd scribble down some notes. It was horrifying. And then the dryer wasn't actually a dryer. It was like a steam dryer. So I learned for a full year, I used crunchy towels because I just air dried them because it would take them 4 days to dry otherwise.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's yeah.
So that wasn't any fun. And the other thing that was really interesting in Switzerland was they're very big on recycling. So a garbage bag, one garbage bag was $3 US. So my boss, who was Swiss, was try it for 1 month and recycle like we do. And if you don't like it, just, you're on assignment. We'll pay $3 a garbage bag. but I tried it for a month, and I was surprised that I probably used one garbage bag. Because if you had like a yogurt container, they recycled the tinfoil in one bin and the paper around it in another bin, and then the plastic, it was a whole separate thing. And if you went to their like recycling center, it was called the Okiehof, and the Okiehof, and you drive down this like industrial building, and there are little stops along the way, and there are people there to help you unload your car. So there was one stop where it was like newsprint. The next stop was magazine paper. The next stop was tissue paper and paper that couldn't fit into the other categories. And you just go down all the way down until you got to like the bottles, and they recycled their bottles to the point where it was like blue bottles, green bottles, brown bottles, all separated out. They do this at the Okiehof. And then at the very end of it, if you had anything that you just they bought and sold the stuff at the Goodwill, and the money kind of went back into the community. So it was just a really interesting, very different way to do it. And because I didn't do well in my German class that we had every day, I learned like my 9 or 10 phrases that I needed to function, and I went along my merry little way. But I did learn, I was the only American that worked in HR at my office, but it was an anomaly office where probably a good 75–80% of the people that worked in that building were American. And they mostly came from like right outside Minneapolis, because we had a big office there. So since I was the only American that worked in HR, I had to learn. They came into my office the first day. They're like, by the way, we're going to treat you like you're Swiss. So figure it out. And I was like, great, this is going to be a great experience. And I learned some of the stuff that you take for granted and that you just take as normal every day in America, things like working after 5 o'clock. They're like, you have to go home. And I'm like, it's only 5:30. They're like, no, you have to go home because the rest of us look bad if you're still here. So we don't work late. That's not what we do. We have to go home and take care of our families and do our things. They're very big on work-life balance. So
and you're like,
they're like, you got to go.
Mobility.
And you can't.
I talk to Asia. I talk to Europe. I talk to the US.
Right,
I talk to
exactly.
I'm tri-regional.
They're like, do it from home. They're like, do it from home, but you can't do it here. And you couldn't go into the office on the weekends, especially on Sunday. There were only certain people that were allowed into the building on Sunday. And it was like the CEO and the IT guy. Everybody else, like you couldn't be in the parking lot. You couldn't be in the building because it violated some sort of employment something, because they were very big on work-life balance. They wanted you to be home.
So let me
So just interesting, just different.
Yeah, it is interesting. You talk about being a victim of your own policy. How did that experience change the way you handle mobility maybe going forward?
It made me look at the different components that you could have in a policy and how does it differ depending on where you are in the world and what your cultural background is. So for example, from an American perspective, every time I had seen anything about domestic help, I was always like, oh, so excessive. It's just not, we're never approving anything that has to do with domestic help until you work in Asia or some of these other countries where you can't drive your own car or everybody has domestic, everybody does. All of a sudden you have to start looking at things a little bit differently because that's just how.
I'm getting it was just a little lag for me there for a second. So I got you now with the policies and stuff and understanding, having more cultural context. I think that's really interesting. Are there services like, so from a policy standpoint, that makes sense. Are there services that maybe you valued more having like done it? There are things that maybe you said, gosh, I don't know if people really
Oh, for
need
sure.
X, but like having done it.
So one of the big things was destination services. And when I lived in Switzerland, that was part of my job. Is I would do tours around the office, and I would take people to the grocery store and this kind of stuff. It's really hard to go to the grocery store in another country because in your head you have it laid out. It's like I can read every label. I know where things are in every store. And what I learned living overseas, and even if you travel, they might have the same stuff, but it might be packaged differently. The label might look different. The dosage or the size of the container might look different. And because I did some of this work, I remember I had a family come from Minneapolis, and I'm like, these people are going home like on the next flight because they're never going to make it. And they had never had passports. They had never left, that area where they grew up. And so here they were in Switzerland. They had their whole family. And I took the mom to the grocery store, and I explained that in Switzerland, if you can't read in like the meat department, if you can't read what kind of meat it is, there is a picture of an animal. So there's a chicken, there's, a cow, there's a pig, whatever. So you can tell what it is. And she called me one day in tears, and I was like, what's the problem? She goes, I think I did something very bad. I need you to go to the grocery store with me again. And I was like, all right. So took her to the grocery store, and she said, I made spaghetti with this. And it was horse meat, which is very regular. And her daughter was an equestrian, and she was beside herself. Like, she didn't even know what to do with herself. And I go, does she know what she ate? She's like, no, I'm the only one. And I was like, well, then don't do it again. I go, don't tell her. You can't tell her. I go, the secret's between you and me. We're never going to tell her. And I'm like, she'll never know. She's like, I'm a bad mom. I'm like, no, you're not. You're feeding your kid. It's fine. We're all good. So
you're a bad equestrian, it's like, but you're not a bad mom.
Yeah, I'm like, you definitely were not a bad mom, but it was one of these things. I was like, oh man, what did I do? What did I explain incorrectly? And I was like, oh no, everybody's going through destination services now, and everybody's going to try to learn the language, whatever little bits and pieces you can, because it just makes your life a little bit easier. But that was one of those things where, from a services perspective, I'm like, everybody needs this. There's a reason that like cross-cultural training and language services and destination services are available, is because it's needed.
Yep. Now, are you, so if you had it to do over again, would you invest the time? Would you actually invest the time in learning language before you went over there?
I love languages. So I can speak more than one language. I just can't speak German, apparently. So German was the struggle that I had. I went into the grocery store, and I had some questions for the butcher, and he didn't speak English. I didn't speak Swiss German, but we both spoke Spanish. So we spoke Spanish to each other, and we figured it out. So languages help for sure. Would it have helped me to learn Swiss German? Absolutely. The problem with that is you can't go to like a Babbel or a Rosetta Stone to learn Swiss German. You have to learn High German and find the accommodations for Swiss German. And I haven't checked lately if there is actually a language track that you could take for Swiss German in specific, but we were learning High German, which worked most of the time. So if I had to go back to Switzerland again, I probably would try a little bit harder on the learning the Swiss German for sure.
Yeah, really, really interesting. Get in the comments. If you're watching this right now, hit that like button. I want to hear from you. What questions do you have for Eileen? It could be about anything, snackies, assignments, everything in between. I got a question for you. I'm personally curious about, Eileen. I just love your whole vibe. I think you're awesome. but like, I also heard like you're on the TikTok, and like
I
TikTok for
am on
me
the
has been
TikTok.
it's been one of those things that like I enjoy a little. I'm more of an Instagram Reels person, but TikTok's cool. But how like, and I do this stuff all the time on LinkedIn, but how do I get onto the TikTok? How did you decide to even venture out and actually create something? Because so many people just watch and they just consume content. 90% of people just consume. How did you decide to become that 1% that actually creates?
So there were a couple reasons that I actually started to create content on TikTok. And I was trying to think of, I have worthless Jeopardy information stuff going in my head. And I was like, do people care about this stuff? I am reasonably entertaining. And if you know me in real life, my life is just a giant TV show waiting to happen. Because I'm one of those people where things happen to me that don't happen to other people. And if it wasn't for the fact that I have witnesses, people would think I was lying, kind of a thing. So I was like, okay, well, some of this stuff is interesting and funny. And I started my TikTok account mostly because I had I have sleep apnea, and I had gotten this Inspire implant, which is relatively new and is a little bit mysterious because the commercials that you see, you can't tell what it is. So I started making videos about going through the process of getting this implant for my sleep apnea. And so that's kind of how it started. And then it kind of just branched off into like, oh, by the way, this happened. And then I talked about my ADHD, and I was diagnosed late in life. And I was already in my they're like, yeah, you have ADHD. You just have better coping skills than most people. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're calling it. So, but so many of the things that I'm learning about the ADHD is stuff that I was like, oh, that's my life. So sometimes I just kind of post about this stuff. And other stuff is just completely random. Like my dog, I have Great Danes, and my dog has no skills whatsoever. She barely knows her name. But if you tell her to go pick up her babies outside, she'll pick up her toys and bring them inside. It's the only skill she has. She's beautiful, but she has no other skills. So.
I love Great Danes. That was my school mascot, Albany Great Danes. Yeah, big fan.
My big Great Dane, Barney, passed away in October. He was 220 pounds. And, oh, wait, here he is. Here's Barney.
Aw, hey, Barney.
And then Betty is up here. She's my girl, Betty.
Hey, Betty.
She is 180 now. Wow. She lost a little weight because, we want to look good for the summer. So she's down a little bit. But two Great Danes, and they're fun to take video of because they don't know how big they are, and they just want to sit around and watch Netflix all day long and hang out with my husband. They don't like me as much as them. Yeah.
Question about the sleep apnea implant, because I also have sleep apnea, but I use a CPAP machine. How do you like the implant? What is it like?
Oh my gosh, it's the greatest. Ben, it is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me, hands down. So the first day I had it on, the next morning when I woke up, my husband's like, how do you feel? And I go, does everybody in the world wake up without a headache when they get up in the morning? He's like, what are you talking about? I said, I have literally woken up with a headache every day my entire life until today.
Wow.
And the biggest difference that my doctor made me aware of is, even on the CPAP, which did not work for me, I was waking up 15 to 20 times an hour, and my oxygen intake was at 79%. So if you think about it, if your pulse ox is at 79% right now, you are blue, and we're taking you to the emergency room. But that's
Wow.
what was happening to me every single night. 15 to 20 times an hour, I would stop breathing.
Even with the CPAP machine.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, because it just wasn't working for me in the way that I needed it to work. And then after a while, you get frustrated because it's like suffocating. You feel like Darth Vader. It's a huge production.
Sure.
You got to bring it with you everywhere. So I just stopped using it because it wasn't working for me. And I tried like all the other, like the mouth thing. We tried different masks and pillows. But this, yes, much more invasive. So I have a scar right here. You can see a little bit of it. And it's got a remote control that's about the size of my hand. You turn it on and you turn it off when you get up in the morning. And it seriously feels like I feel like $1 million.
How long does the battery last in that?
They said 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
And they don't have to take the whole thing out to, they just have to, they can do it while it's all in your chest.
What do they just hit you like one paddle? Just give you like a quick little, yeah. Okay.
It's a little slice. They open it up. It's like a little tiny watch battery.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. My aunt got, was talking about getting that. And I do the CPAP. It is definitely cumbersome. It's definitely a pain in the ass to travel with. I'm thinking about taking a flight to France. I haven't flown internationally, but I always get like the business class, lay down, take a nap, whatever. And I'm thinking like, how am I going to actually like sleep on a plane with a CPAP machine plugged in? Like, am I even allowed to? I'm just going through all these thoughts in my head. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit about it. So maybe it's something I'll look into.
If anybody has any questions on the process, I do have some TikToks on it. I'm coming up next week is actually my 1 year anniversary of having this thing implanted and functioning. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, I love it. What do you think about TikToks though for global mobility for like our industry? I feel like it's a space that I've seen a couple people do a couple things, but nobody's really gone hard with it. Like, what do you think about doing that kind of stuff?
I think it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So some of the providers that work in our industry, I think could really, really benefit from a TikTok account for things like temp housing, for example, having a TikTok showing an apartment complex and what's in there. What are the amenities? What does the apartment look like? Show some furniture, household goods. Show how do you do a survey? What does a pack and load look like? What's happening as your truck is going from point A to point B and your stuff is not visible to you. Those are the kind of things that make it easier. They're small, digestible bites of information that are vital to the process, let's say. And I think instead of my trying to explain, hey, this place has a pool and a gym and a whatever, I can say, let me send you the link to the TikTok and you can see, I walk by the pool, I take you into the gym, I show you the amenities in the concierge, I show you the front door, whatever. So I think there's a lot of uses in a lot of areas that people aren't making the most of it. It is time consuming, and let's be honest, one of the reasons that there are not a lot of content creators that are, I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm sporting some Chicos. I'll be the first to admit it, but we're not as tech savvy as some of the people, but you know what? You hire the people that know what they're doing and how to make a video and how to edit a video. It's very easily done. If I can do it, for God's sake, anybody can do it.
So we've got a request here. If you're comfortable, Mike Falia would like your TikTok handle.
It's Mike Falia. It's 13E MacDonald 13, and it's under Auntie I. AUNTIEEI. Auntie I.
Auntie I. So is it when you say it's under, like, I don't know, how does that work?
It's
Like, what,
it's if you are searching, just search at 13 E MacDonald 13.
okay. 13 E MacDonald 13. Got it.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna have to do that. 13 E MacDonald 13. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this. I do a little bit with the reels and stuff. People have seen probably like me post some of that stuff, but
It's the same
I
thing.
totally agree.
It's the same exact thing.
I think TikTok is the innovation that is TikTok is that it's innovated the way that we train people, the way that we disseminate information. Now we can explain something in 15 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever, where, you know, it used to be 5-minute YouTube videos or 1 hour tutorials. And now we're doing like 15 seconds. All of a sudden, holy crap, you can grasp a concept in 15 seconds. Like it really.
Do you know
really
how much stuff I have learned on TikTok? Like it's embarrassing how much I don't know, and I'm learning from these randos on TikTok. I think there are just there's recipes that I have tried. There's how do you clean this, or how do you get this out of this fabric, or there are all kinds of rabbit holes you can go down on TikTok, which is great. You do a hashtag like dog TikTok, all of a sudden there's a Great Dane TikTok you can watch. So I actually learn a lot of information on how to do things or why things are the way they are, how things are made, why processes are the way that they are. I learn a lot more from this app than people want to give it credit for. People think it's just a bunch of kids doing, you know, eating Tide Pods and, you know, explaining what, dancing around. Yes, I have been known to do a dance step or two, but I learn a ridiculous amount of information from TikTok, an embarrassing amount.
So help us men and women of a certain age understand what would be a couple of tips you would give us on dipping our toe into the TikTok.
So fortunately, people have a very short attention span, and shorter TikToks do well. People like authenticity. And people want you to get to the point. There are actually people on TikTok that have gone viral because they will watch somebody's stupid long video and summarize it in like 4 sentences. And then at the top, it says, I've saved you 2 minutes and 32 seconds because they've summarized it in 4 sentences. So the shorter, the better. Just get your point across. And long videos are an investment. I think are just hard for people. And being real is more important than being viral. People ask me a lot of questions about my Inspire stuff because I showed myself as John was driving me home, and we stopped in the parking lot of he ran into Safeway to go get my prescription, and I'm shooting a video. I still looked like death. But I was like, this is what you look like when you're done, you know, with your surgery. And then a couple days later, not a good day from a recovery perspective. I still went on there because I said I was going to. And I was like, I'm going to show you the good and the bad. Now, the rest of it, I had one bad day and the rest of them were all good days, but it was real and it was relatable.
Wow. I love it. I love that real versus viral. I'm thinking a lot of people are looking for like 1 million followers or 1 million views. And that's not the game at all. The game is about, in my opinion, I mean, at least what I've done here with like LinkedIn, right? It's about, you know, building a community of people who are deeply connected and who care. And in this case, people of a certain, we have a lot in common, right? We have a lot of commonality, and therefore I think there's a lot of value in that for being a part of this community. And I imagine that's the way to go with it.
I think so. Those are the people I tend to watch, are the ones that are a little rough around the edges and kind of like me, that are not 100% perfect, but you're not going to apologize for being imperfect either. It's perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, I love that you said that too, because I think that's one of the things that stops people, right? Is that we want it to be perfect, and therefore we never do it because it's never going to be perfect. And ironically, paradoxically, that imperfection is what makes people know that it's real and they could trust it. So it's like you got to lean into that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Christine Sadar says this has been great. Thanks, Ben and Eileen. Tila says, "Told you, Ben. It's a learning app."
See.
This is awesome. Thanks for sharing your TikTok. We don't have a ton of time left, and I want to do overrated, underrated with you, Eileen.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's do that because that's what the people love. The people love sees overrated, underrated. So we're gonna do overrated, underrated. Eileen, there are only 2 rules to overrated, underrated. What? Do you know how to play the game?
No.
I appreciate your candor. There's 2 rules. 1, I'm gonna give you a topic. You're going to tell me if it's either overrated or underrated. Those are your 2 options. Don't overthink it. Don't get cute. Okay. Number 2.
Gotcha. I am cute.
Well, no cuter than you already are.
Okay.
This is the max. This is the ceiling for your cuteness. The second is I will tell you if you are correct. All right.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get going here. All right. First one up. Filipino food. Overrated, underrated?
Oh, totally underrated depending on the food. But there are definitely some staples. Lumpia, pancit, most desserts. There need to be more ways to get Filipino food other than like my mom's kitchen.
Or like the occasional Jollibee that you run across.
Exactly.
I've never eaten at a Jollibee. Some people love it and rave about it. What are your thoughts?
Never been.
Okay.
Never been. I've never lived anywhere that had a Jollibee. They have them in Chicago now, but it was after I left. So
we got one here in Dallas. I was like, oh, there's a Jollibee. And so my 6-year-old son identifies as Filipino. And so I'm like, there's a Jollibee. We should take Steven. He's 1/8 Filipino, and he's like, I'm a Filipino, and he's like, and thanks to Christine Reichenberger, by the way, for making a TikTok about halo halo. Now my son
that's
knows.
A good one.
He says in his cute little lispy 6-year-old voice, like halo halo means mix. And so he is very proud Filipino.
You need to get him a little halo shave ice maker.
That would be a nice little event.
Look at Mike Falia with a crispy pata. Nice job.
Mike is well, I don't know how Mike does it. Mike is in incredible shape and yet has eaten more foods than I have. Give me your secret, Mike. I don't even know oh my gosh, this guy drives me nuts. I love you, Mike. You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna say Filipino food. I think it might be overrated. I don't know. I've had it a few times.
Really?
I just
give me your how come.
I'll give you my how come. I think it's like you know how some you're gonna hate me for this. Is gonna be our second disagreement. Okay, so you know how some foods like
wrong food at the wrong places.
Like okay, you know how like Vietnamese food is like this combination of like Asian and like French, right? And so you get this kind of beautiful little mixture, right? Or like Louisiana, like Creole food is like this French, you know, Caribbean, you know, Spanish stuff. I feel, and this is so messed up. I feel like Filipino food is like the lowest common denominator of Asian and Spanish cuisines and American mushed together. And it's like a lot of French fries. It's a lot of like fried chicken. And like, it's just a lot of like.
You are eating at the wrong places.
I know. You never had me over. You never had me at mom's house. That's all I got to go off of.
You know what? We're going to my mom's house and we'll go to Florida and we will have Filipino food at my mom's house. And then you will change your mind.
I need to, because my wife, who is a quarter Filipino,
you will definitely change your mind.
She has never had Filipino food, really. My son is like Mr. Philippines, he thinks. I need to get where's your mom live? I need to set this up. I go to the Gulf Coast a lot.
Filipino. That's
mom?
Awesome. I love that he identifies Filipino and he's like a smidgen.
He's. I don't even think
a
he
whole
get a
separate
scholarship.
show.
Yeah, it's seriously. Filipino fast food is all Ben's had. Yeah, Cliff. I don't know, man. Give me some. Hey,
Oh, if all you've had is fast food, then all right, I'm going to find you some places in Dallas. We're going to find you someplace a little more authentic than the Jollibee at the mall.
I'll accept that. I would very much like to. I'd very much like to be proven wrong on this one.
I'll set you right. Don't worry.
I don't often admit that I don't know what I'm talking about, but on this one I do. So I'm going to give you this one. 1 point for Eileen. Okay. All right. Next one up. Socks. Overrated, underrated.
Socks are overrated. Overrated for sure.
I like this thing. Yeah. Okay.
Totally overrated.
Give me your
unless you're working out, you really don't need to wear socks. They're just an extra accessory.
I'm not mad at it. I'm really not.
That's all.
I'm not mad at it. You know,
there you go.
You know, it can't possibly be underrated. So
they're more hassle than they're worth. They're more hassle than they're worth.
Man, putting on socks is my morning exercise routine. So I feel you. You know, I feel you. Moving on. 2 points for Eileen. You're on a hot streak here. All right, next one up. Assignment Pro.
Okay, Assignment Pro is underrated for sure. So I was using Assignment Pro back in the day, 10 years ago, easily. I use Assignment Pro. We use it currently. There is so much you can do with it, even if you use it for its most basic use of it being a storage house for all of your documents and a way to track your assignees and transferees. It is easy to learn. It is easy to use. There is an out-of-the-box version that somebody can or you can learn how to put it together. It's like IKEA furniture. So it is truly been a real program changer for us. With the 2 employers that I've used it with, it's got good reporting capabilities. You're able to do APIs with it. There is a lot that you can do with Assignment Pro.
And this segment brought to you by Assignment Pro.
It'll be on my TikTok.
Yeah, thank you for our sponsor, Assignment Pro. No, just kidding. I can't even say you're wrong. I never use it. So you know what? Yeah, gosh, that's 3 now. You're racking up a lot of. You got more points on technicalities, honestly, Eileen, than I think I've ever. This is a new record here. You're doing better than Mavericks, that's for sure. Let's keep it moving here. Next one up. Alpha.
The OOTD. It's a little overrated. Everybody does it.
What? Tell me. So is this like doing like a new fit, like new drip? Like
it's literally, there are people that do an OOTD every single day, and they post a video of and I've seen them do like their entire everybody that lives in their house, or their entire sorority, or your whole family, and it's like, okay, my earrings are by so-and-so, and my necklace Nordstrom, and my sweater is from, Saks, and my sneakers are from Nike. So yeah, I just think everybody does it. The OOTD is a little overdone.
Let me ask you this. If people are doing it like as a sorority or as a family, are they all wearing the same outfit?
Nope. Okay. Like if they're going to prom, then they'll like all line up and they'll all do it. Or if it's your family, we're going out for dinner, here are our OOTDs.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You know what? That does sound overrated. I'm going to give you another point for that one. Wow. Yeah, that's whack. All right. Anyway, but I could imagine people want to know like where you got your shoes, or where you got like you were wearing some pants, I think in St. Louis that were like bomb. So I was like, I mean, I didn't want to know where you got the pants because I would never buy the pants. I never fit the pants, but I was just like, I thought they were nice pants. So I can imagine people want to know where you got the
people
pants.
ask, and that's how you become an influencer. Is you go, I bought these pants, I really like them, and then you make a little video, and
you can get them here at my Amazon store.
Exactly.
Next, sponsored by Amazon. Next one up, TikTok, overrated, underrated.
Underrated for certain populations and for use from a business perspective.
You know what? This might be. We don't get a lot of clean sweeps, honestly. But that's 5. I think you made an excellent point there on that one. I'm gonna give you that one too, because you couched it in the fact that it's for business purposes. But let me ask you this, Eileen. What do you think about this TikTok ban that is looming right now?
I am curious how this is going to work and how it is not going to get saved by some US company sweeping along and doing some sort of agreement with the owners of TikTok. There are so many people that rely on TikTok for income that have left their day jobs, their regular jobs, because they can make more money on TikTok, and it affords them flexibility to spend time with their families or to do other things. I think they would be affecting so many people's livelihoods and my entertainment. There's an impact to my entertainment, which I struggle with. So I think, I don't know how they're going to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. I think the point could be made, though. Those people would just shift over to YouTube, or they'd shift over to not Facebook. They shift over to Instagram or something like that. But I mean, the other thing I've heard people say is any company big enough to buy them, like a Google or whatever, would face monopoly issues as soon as they purchase them, or a Meta, for instance, right? Would face. So it's like, so anybody, it's very hard to say, oh, you got to sell this $50 billion or more. Gosh, Elon paid $50 billion for Twitter, and it's got to be worth more than Twitter, right? So I mean, who can even afford to cut that check for TikTok? But yeah,
Ben Cross.
Yeah, maybe with a small loan, maybe with Mike Falia's money, honestly. Ship a couple more cars, I might be able to get me some TikTok. No, this has been super interesting. Eileen MacDonald, Senior Global Mobility Partner, Thermo Fisher Scientific. Eileen, you are awesome. I wish I had 2 hours to talk to you. Forget short form. Forget 15 seconds. I'm taking an hour and 15 minutes with Eileen. Eileen, leave us with one final thought before we depart today.
You know what, Ben? I would like to take a moment to thank everybody that took time out of their day to watch us, whether you're watching us live or watching recording. But all of the people that I have met in the mobility industry that have befriended me, shared their time, shared their family, shared advice. It is a community in the truest sense of the word. And it has taken until I've gotten a little bit older and a little bit grayer to fully understand and appreciate the impact that has had in my life. So I would like to say thank you to everybody for your kindness and your friendship and your willingness to share everything that you have shared with me, because I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd second that, honestly. I mean, we wouldn't be here right now without a lot of really great people out there supporting us and taking care of us and giving us a hand and a shoulder to cry on sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you everyone out there who watched today and who's been watching us for almost 5 years now on Love+Relo. We started this back in 2020, done it 21, 22, 23, now it's 24, 600 episodes of this, talking to wonderful people like Eileen MacDonald. And just continuing to spread the love. I appreciate y'all out there. We wouldn't have a show without you. Thank you for tuning in. Give Eileen MacDonald a virtual round of applause. Hit that like button. Hit those little clappy hands. And Eileen, I can't wait to see you in person soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me on, Ben. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks.